Okay, so I'm live again. And actually, this time, I actually have my wife here to read the comments. So, not only will, of course, I'll be working like normal and people can comment and stuff as they like, but my wife can also share this link to Haunter's Hangout and to my page,
Do that.
and maybe even to Latex Mask Central, if she is so inclined.
I am inclined. I am.
See how I imply that? I did not demand those things, I implied them. All right, so this is a werewolf. So I just did him, and I did white fur on him, completely white fur, and then I airbrushed it. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to set him aside because what I have to do now is I have to work on, I have to work on more fur stuff. But to do that, I need to be over here. All right. So what this is on the other side of this table is a big roll of gray fur. And I know they don't have a lot of comments rolling in right now. That's because we just got started.
We have a couple of good evenings.
Oh, and well then, good evening to all of you. This was my Keep Calm and Make Monsters shirt that my buddy Timber gave me. All right, I gotta grab my pattern for the werewolf head. And I might even modify that a little bit. That's the wolf man.
Rip the Husker says the werewolf looks amazing.
Thank you. I'm very happy with it, how it turned out.
Oscar Nicolas says hello from Kansas.
Hello, Kansas. So my birthday is July 13th, and that is when Crypticon is going on. And I get so many comments, hey, you should go to Crypticon and sell your mask. I thought, but it's quite a drive. It's about a 11 or 12-hour drive for me. So it's not a, hey, let's go do that on my birthday type. I'm back. I had to go eat dinner. Dinner is important to a growing werewolf. And to making werewolves. Alright, so black Sharpie on a dark gray background, not as good. Silver Sharpie, good. Yeah, so the last video that I did, I'm going to do that every now and then, where I do just a video that's 20, 30 minutes long, which is one technique where I'm just trying to show that technique and honestly make a valuable YouTube video for my channel. While these are a lot of fun to do, where we can hang out and chat and stuff, this doesn't add a lot of value to my channel because these don't get searched for and watched. And I want to add videos that will continue to get searched for and watched. So I might do a live video and then I'll edit it down so all the talking stuff, but you do still have the content. All right, so this is a Persona razor blade. I want you to see that I numbered the sides of it. And I do that whenever I pull out a new one. I put a 1 and a 2 on there. And that tells me I use the one side till it gets dull, and then I flip it over. If you don't number them, you have no idea which side you've been using. So it's just easier for me to keep track this way. And this one has cut out 3 masks already, so it's probably getting dull, but I've only used side number 1. But it seems to be fine. It has just a hair of drag. It's not the laser like normal. Any comments there, White?
Well, they're talking to me.
Okay. Well, just talk back because they can hear you.
Linda was saying hi. We have a hi. This is Graham. Hello, Alan and Shannon from the UK.
Hey, Graham.
What time is it, Graham?
Probably 3.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Graham, you should be asleep. Scott Coates says, how do you save a mask from starting to crack?
Okay, a mask or a sculpt? I'm going to assume you mean... Sorry, guys. Upload issue. All right, how do you save a mask? You don't. You just repair the cracks. What I normally do if a mask is cracking really bad, I go inside and I go inside of the mask and I stipple in a layer of cheesecloth, and then that gives me a base on the inside where any repair I do on the outside won't fall in and make a mess. So that's what I normally do. I just patch it.
Chris, the Carolina Haunter, says, hey Alan, quick latex question. Besides special effects distributors, where can I purchase latex just for mixing with paint, not for masking?
Okay. Just for mixing with paint. Actually, paint supply stores have it, like Sherwin-Williams, bigger paint supply stores, and they have it, they call it masking liquid. Because what they do, if they're going to paint a window, they'll paint this latex on the glass, and then they can paint the panes and stuff, no problem, peel that off, and it's faster and easier than tape. And it's about the same cost. So look for a latex masking liquid for paint, and that's way cheaper than casting latex. You can also get latex from a concrete supply company who adds it as a bond or fortifier for concrete.
Billy Bones says, hello from Colorado.
Hey, Billy.
Justin Williams says, will you be making more how-to videos? He also says, from Grand Prairie, Texas.
I just made a how-to video earlier today. If you look at my channel, you can see that I did. Now, it was in a live format, but it was 30 minutes long, and it was a how to do one skill, which is airbrush fur. So, yes, I will still be making them. I'll be making more of them. But right now, I'm doing a live video. Yes. So yes, I will.
I think people must be getting ready for Halloween.
Yes. Yeah, the Halloween push is beginning to start. Doyle, you exploring? Doyle likes to go underneath the fur that's hanging over on the other side.
We met your cats.
So, I think everyone has met Doyle and Tuxedo.
Good.
I'm pretty sure that they have. Now this guy here is a little funky. I'm going to do something. See how much fabric that takes up. If I were okay with cutting these off and sewing them back on, I could make it take up less fabric. I just have to find the right way to do that. And the way to do that
Justin Williams says, awesome, can't wait, always enjoy them.
let me show you its features.
Scott Colehart says, hello again.
Hey, Scott. So this is one piece that is all spread out, okay? And it takes up a lot of real estate. I'm going to cut these wings off, and that'll do two things for me. Yeah. That'll do two things. What that's going to do is that's going to let me it'll give me more options as to where I can cut this pattern out. And I don't need this giant swath of fabric. On fake fur, there's one side edge. Sometimes it looks a little rough. So make sure that you're not right up on the side of that. And honey, on YouTube, more so than Facebook, go ahead and tell me the hellos and all that, because
Hello from Brazil.
from Brazil.
How cool is that?
Tudo bem. I got to know a lot of Brazilians when I worked at Skull Kingdom because Orlando has a rather large Brazilian community, both tourists, as in it's a popular place to go, and with hang on a second.
John Napolitano is also from Brazil and says hello.
Oh, hey, John.
And Justin Williams says, do you work for Dark Hour? He is going to go this year.
Yes, I do work for Dark Hour. I'm the director there. What I need to do is I need to make a little note of where I have to sew this together. Every now and then we get a little blitz in community. I apologize about that. Hello, Doyle. Now, the big arrows on here, that's the direction the fur needs to go. And really, it would be better, I had the fur direction this way because that's how it went. But the way it hangs on the mask, it's better if it goes straight down. So if I can do this, even better. I made a little nick in this pattern. I'm going to transfer that. See that little nick? That'll give me a marker line, and that tells me. Other haunted houses around here. You know what? I used to have a lot of friends who owned haunts and did a lot of that. Dark Hour expanded its schedule so that we're open a lot of Thursdays and Sundays, and frankly, I don't get to much anymore. I still love them, but I don't get to near as many haunts as I used to. But Rainier Manor is always a good choice. Screams and Waxahachie is fun. To be 100,000% honest, their haunted houses individually are not amazing, but it is an evening of fun because there's a lot of haunted houses. The area's atmosphere, really, it can't be beat. You know, it's a beautiful atmosphere. You can walk around, and for the price of going to any haunt in the area, Screams is a whole night of entertainment. So while it isn't per se, you know, super duper amazing haunted house, oh my God, wow, the detail, it's a great time, and there's a lot of haunted houses, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
We still have 2 cats in here?
One, I think we lost the other cat, Mike. Unless he's under the fur. I have no idea. Okay. I'm just doing some markings here.
Dr. Mack says, hi to Ellen's wife. Glad to have you here with us. Hello, Dr. Mack.
My wife is awesome. You may have picked up that I call her wife. I call her wife more than I call her name. Sometimes if I call her name, she wonders what's wrong.
I do.
So I say, hey, wife. I say that a lot.
Yeah, other people call me wife. Justin Williams says, yes, they're just fun to go to. They are always a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never had a crappy time there. You know, it's not that. Depends on what you're looking for. You know, sometimes you want to spend $30 and be somewhere all night. Yeah, do that. Great. How many people are watching, White?
16.
16. Is there TV on or something? I think we just lost Doyle. Watching someone cut fur is probably up there in entertainment value with watching paint dry. So tonight's the night for comments and silly questions because my wife will read them all. And I have time for them because I'm not stopping what I'm doing in order to read them, which is the normal case. Anything neat? All right, so that's that and that. And now I need to do this other one. All that I've really done by changing the pattern with that cut is I made it easier to cut out, and I also made a little more sewing for myself. And I have to write down a little more too.
Little Grim says it's still better than that Love Island. Not that I've seen that. Haha. It's a TV show.
Love Island. Gotta love reality TV.
Dave says, did you love or hate Hereditary?
Dave, I haven't seen Hereditary. And I haven't seen Hereditary because I'm in the shop.
You haven't seen a Quiet Place.
I haven't seen A Quiet Place yet. I want to see that.
Or Black Panther?
What's that, love?
Or Black Panther?
Yeah. See, we bought Black Panther and we got halfway through it. I haven't finished watching that yet either. So eventually, I will watch all those movies. But also, you know.
Ezekiel says hello, Mr. and Mrs. Hobbs.
Hey, Ezekiel.
Hey, mate.
Good to see you on.
Dr. Max says, to Alan's wife, do you love the haunted house industry as much as Alan?
I don't know that anybody loves it as much as me, so that's a hard question. But carry on, wife.
Yes, in fact, Alan and I met at a haunted house. So I was a patron of the dark attraction industry for many years before we met. And then after we married, I went to the behind the scenes actual working the industry and have been there ever since. And I love it.
Yeah.
Love Halloween.
She's always loved Halloween.
It's how we met.
We were actually at Shannon's parents' house the other day, and they showed me, they pulled out something from when she was in like second grade or third grade or something like that. And it was, if you could write a book, what would your book say? What would your book be? And her book was witches, witches, witches. So she was even a creepy kid. People think that I'm
Good
a,
night.
oh, good night, absolutely.
Not that that's bad hours for you.
Yeah, not uncommon hour. And now I have 4 pieces I can try and fit into a spot, which will be very helpful. So, my knee just kind of stopped working. Very weird. That's why I pulled that stool over. I'm falling apart live on the air. You might get a free fail video as I fall down in the shop. So I have 1, 2, 3 more of these werewolves to do. And by to do, what I mean is to fur. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out all of them. I know this pattern works. So it's not I'm not testing this pattern anymore. Sometimes if you say, well, I have 4 of these to do, I made a pattern, now I'll cut out 4 of them. Any error, you're going to propagate that error throughout all of your pieces then. And you can't go back and fix it because you already cut them out. While this fur is not super expensive, Some fur is. I've used fur on a costume that was $80 a yard. Don't tell my wife. But yeah, that was $80 a yard. So if I'm making several of those things, I don't want to propagate a mistake that I'm going to have to fix later. Always make one, see if it works. When I first made this pattern, I cut it out and I sewed it together.
XJ says hello.
Aaron who?
XJ.
Okay, well hello Aaron. And now I'm going to take this, because I'm starting to cut out a second one. I'm taking the first one, I'm going to put it on top of the werewolf's head that it belongs to. And that way, the head, the jaw, and the fur are all together. And I'm getting all these crazy little fur scraps that I'm going to have to find something to do with. What I try to do is when I'm done with the fur for a certain project, I cut it off straight so that it's nice and clean and ready for the next time I need it.
Question. Hello, Alan. Just saw that you were live and just joined. Are you making these for your haunt?
Yes and no. Yes, I'm making the ones you see tonight are for dark hour mostly. I do have 2 werewolf orders. One is from, my intention was to bring a werewolf to Transworld, a stilt werewolf costume. So I kind of had the intent to make a werewolf costume anyway, mask and costume all together. But I didn't get the chance time-wise to do it before Transworld. Well, luckily, a friend of mine ordered one at Transworld, said he could not find a moving jaw werewolf that was comfortable, they could see out of and breathe out of, and the jaw moved. So I said, that's kind of what I do. And they said, that's why we came here. So I made this first off based off of an order. But we do have a June and July show at Dark Hour that is all werewolf based. It's called the Dog Days of Summer. And that, yeah, that answers your question. I hope. Some of these are going to that. And then, of course, one of each of these guys is just for me, because I like werewolves. And I play a werewolf.
Scott Couch says it's 3 a.m. 8 a.m. here. Good night from Scotland. See you next time.
Good night.
Linda Forbes says, watching a promo for Dog Days on Facebook. My son says that's Alan. You can tell it's him and brings the fun for me to watch. Right? Was it you?
I am in that video in several spots. Your son is probably correct. All right, let's pull this over here. See, and the roll's on the other side of the table, so it's a pretty simple deal to just pull this. Don't hide your razor blade. Unless you get in trouble for having it like in prison or in that case, hide your razor blades, kids. Don't want to get in trouble. Not just under the mattress, everybody knows the look there.
Michael Lassiter. Hello, Alan.
Less weird. Now, all right, here we go. With this pattern piece, that because the direction the fur has to go is marked on this. And that tells me that that is about the best that I can do. So that's what I'll do. And I don't own them. They're just little metal blocks that hold stuff down like this pattern.
Rufus G66 says, hello, Pops. Phil from Virginia compiled your ebook back in the day. Great to see.
Phil! Very cool. Yeah, that was back in the Haunt Forum days. It would be a lot more work now to do it out of Facebook posts. And there's so many different sources you'd have to compile it from. Phil is the reason why I accidentally wrote a book. Doesn't happen to a lot of people, but it happened to me. Got an email that said, hey, you wrote a book. Was a little half circle on here. And I know not to cut that out. Because what that does is that lines up with this one. And that tells me where was a little half circle on here. And I know not to cut that out. Because what that does, I have to sew this together. So that's why that half circle's on there.
Hannah Ratliff, this is Chris's wife. Hello from Chris, Hannah, and Charlie.
Oh my goodness. You haven't stopped him. He's converted you. Be careful.
This is from Jim Rio 777. If you want to start a haunt from the beginning, do you believe it is sound investment that start up now, or is there an oversaturation of haunts? Joseph from Long Beach, California.
There's not an oversaturation of haunts. That's answer one. Answer two, haunting is never a sound investment. Haunting is heart and passion and joy. Never do it because it's an investment, because nature kind of knows, and they're the ones that tend to fail. If someone wants to start a haunted house because they went to a haunted house once and they saw this long line of people and they imagined a $20 bill over all those heads, and they thought, man, this place is raking it in. They don't see what it took to build it. They don't see what it takes to actually make it a good show. They don't see whether or not that place has a leader who can actually keep a crew coming back year after year. While a haunted house has to be a business to stay open, a haunted house has to be a passion to stay around, if that makes any sense. Make sure that you're okay working for free for 5 or 10 years. Make sure you like ramen. And don't plan on getting a loan from a bank to start a haunted house business. It's not a good investment. You want to borrow $300,000 to open a business that's going to be open 15 days a year. And if it rains, you're scrummed. Indoor or out, just about. Because the number of people who go out in the rain, maybe you're indoor, but they still have to go out. And do you have paved parking? There's a lot of variables and factors. Don't borrow money, and make sure you love it. That's all I say. I would say if I was going to start a haunted house right now, I would find someone with land they're not using, and I would start with a haunted trail. And I would produce that haunted trail for about $5,000. And I would, so let's, $5,000. $3,000 of that would be what I put on the trail. Costumes, lights, sound, that kind of stuff. That's $3,000 of that. The other $2,000, that's for marketing. And that holds true. If you're going to spend $50,000 on your haunt, spend $50,000 on your marketing. Because you got to have people to come to it.
Dr. Mike says, amen. Gabriel Orbit says, greetings from Buena Vista Horror Club in Tijuana.
Hello, Gabriel. He is a frequent watcher.
Dr. Max says, preach it.
You know what? I'm just saying, I love haunted houses, and that's why I'm still around. I have been doing this for over 30 years. And how have I still been doing it for 30 years? For a lot of it, I was just an actor. I think people want a shortcut to owning their own show right away. And I don't necessarily think that that is a great way to do it. I think you should work for somebody else for 2 or 3 years, then switch haunts, work for someone else for 2 or 3 years, then switch haunts, work for them for 2 or 3, learn. You use that opportunity to learn.
Edie Lunsford says this is true for most business.
The lowest fail rate, the highest success rate of any business, it's a bed and breakfast. You already live there. It's just your house. And you rent out a couple of the rooms. It's a bed and breakfast. That is the business that has the lowest failure rate. Because you're going to keep living in your house. You're still going to have that room. Oh, now you want to rent it. Great. While it doesn't make a lot of money, it's really hard to lose money with that business. You already have a house. Now, if you buy a house to start a bed and breakfast, it's a little different. If you already have land, sure, start a haunted trail. If you can make a deal with a landowner and do, hey, let's do a 50-50 ticket split, or let's do a 70-30 ticket split, and you get all the concessions profit, and you can charge $2 for parking. That's a good deal for that landowner, because it'll cover their taxes and that kind of thing. But anyway, but you've got to pay the insurance. That's not on them.
Michael McCallion says, hi there, Mr. and Mrs. Hops. Greetings from Derry, North Ireland. I have a
Hello.
question for you. What drew you into the haunt scare scene?
I started very young. My first haunted house, there was one that was near my grandmother's house when I was 10. Haunted house as an actor years old. I kind of decided then that that's what I want to do with the rest of my life, and I did. Here I am.
Ezekiel Bradshaw says you have to do a haunt apprenticeship.
We actually have apprenticeships at Dark Hour. If somebody wants to come to Dark Hour and work there for a couple weeks to see what a large haunt is like, and by large haunt, I don't mean necessarily square footage. What I mean is we're professional. We have 15 to 20 people who work at the haunt year round on different projects, getting the show updated and switched over. So, and every now and then we get interns who come out and they want to learn a little bit more about the business, or they want to see an off-season show of what goes into it, how much we change. We can do tech-based internships or art-based internships. We do it at Dark Hour all the time.
Jim Rios 777 says, yes, me too. I remember going to the local mall haunted house in Texas as a child back in the 70s. Now it's something that I'm looking into because I love it so much. Thank you for your insight.
Don't borrow money. What you're doing with it. And that's almost like saying, hey, I'm on drugs. I don't want to waste all this. Because that could happen. And you be aware that that is an honest possibility, that you could lose everything that first year because no one comes. Show helps. It's not everything. Show doesn't always put butts in seats. So I am on the second side of my razor blade now. It has significant drag at this point. And I'll probably swap out razor blades before I cut the next one.
How many werewolves are you making?
Tonight,
Period.
tonight I have to hair those 3 over there. So I have to hair 3. So I'm gonna cut out one more and then I'm done. Because this is werewolf number 2. And then werewolf number 3. Wait. Oh, that's the face. Okay, so this is one werewolf. Goes here. And I'm not cutting out anything for the backs of the ears because I'm later. This is the one that I airbrushed earlier today.
Focus.
Your face is out of focus.
Get a face. Focus.
Focus, Daniel-san.
There you go.
Okay. Very happy with it.
City.
We were actually the first haunted house at the premier haunt tour. So, would I ever do something like that? Yes. I would definitely do it through Dark Hour, and I would definitely do it probably through Transworld in some way, since they are such a big driver of the haunted house business, of the business of haunting. It is entirely possible.
Michael Lasker says, for those just getting into haunt, learn as many skills as possible. Building, prop making, makeup, etc. The more you know, the more a haunt will have use for you.
Not just that. Carpentry, plumbing, electrical, HVAC. All of that stuff is useful to haunting. Any trade, really. A haunter has to be all those things to be successful. Now I have weird bits down here because it's all traced out, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these guys out because that's what I have room for. Oh, that works right there. Perfect. Perfecto. These are my paperweights for the day. It's my latex mask paint. And this paper is what they call a construction paper from Home Depot. It's in their paint department. But it's what construction folks put down in order to save walkways and stuff at a place they're working.
James Kelly. Hello from Dark Scare Productions in Spanish Fork, Utah. My Halloween prop business is all thanks to watching your videos.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. You know, I get a lot of people who they'll message me and they'll say, "Hey, listen, I really like corpsing stuff, and I've gotten good at corpsing things. Would you mind if I started a business?" No, that's freaking why I taught you. Because being a successful haunter, a lot of the times, you know what? Okay, let's go back to a different conversation. I said work for other people, but not only do I work for other haunted houses, right now I don't even own a haunted house anymore. I used to own one on the side for, how many years did we have Trail? And then 16 years I owned my own. And I probably owned my own 4 or 5 other years before that, like way down the road. There's Tuxedo. Hello, kitty. I just thought you guys might. You can hear his little delicate meow. That cat weighs 20 pounds, but he's got the meow of a kitten.
Very delicate.
Oh, I'm so excited because I'm cutting out the last bit of werewolf fur. Not the but the last bit. The last werewolf's bits. If you're going to cut a werewolf's bits, know that it's going to make him angry. But anyway, yes. Haunt-wise, one of the ways that I've been able to do this for so long is I have varied income streams. Yes, I own a haunt. I have owned a haunt in the past. But I also sell costumes and masks to other haunted houses, which fills a need for them, and it fulfills a need for me. And that's kind of part of, haunt success, is being able to find other income streams. Right now, the big extra income stream is escape rooms. That's the big thing. So,
John Browning says, I made a bas relief flower from clay. Could you recommend a specific silicone product to make a mold so I can make copies from concrete? I'm pretty confused with the Smooth On website.
okay, don't go through Smooth On. Not that Smooth On has some good products. And you also probably don't want to use silicone, because concrete is very rough on silicone, and it'll leach out a lot of the oil in the silicone, and it'll cause your mold to blow out sooner. You're going to want to mold with a urethane. And actually, Biddy Mold Supply just did Brick in the Yard Mold Supply. They have an amazing YouTube channel. Go there and look up concrete mold. Maybe a month ago, they did a video on making molds for concrete. And it's a urethane product that they sell, and it's great, and it's for concrete molds. You want to use something that's meant for concrete molds, because concrete, it dries things out. That's what it does. One of the ways that it gets so hard is it, kicks all the moisture out of it, and it sucks all the moisture out of everything around it to kick it out. So just Biddy Mold Supply, go to their YouTube channel and search for concrete mold. They did it was maybe a month ago. Okay. And you know what? Just like that, you don't have to ask me questions about furring masks, which is what I'm doing. It could be anything. I don't know everything. I don't know. I'll tell you, hey, I don't know. Like just then, I didn't say I don't know, but I said, this guy knows.
John Browning says, great, thank you.
But if there is so there was a show on called Cash Cab, all right? And it was a game show where people drove around in a cab in New York City, and while they were on their way to their destination, they got asked questions. If I was on a special effects version of Cash Cab, Mitch from Biddy Mold Supply, he would be my phone a friend, because he knows a ton of stuff. All right, let's go back. And this one has this piece, I needed this a piece, and I needed that piece.
Have you ever been to Edge of Hell Haunted House in Kansas City?
I have not yet been to Edge of Hell. Very good things. I've heard very good things about Edge of Hell. And I've met the owners of Edge of Hell. Very nice. So, that is not an all-encompassing statement. It just means they were nice to me when I met them. Maybe they stabbed you. I don't know. I'm not defending them. Just saying they were nice to me. What? My wife is giving me a weird look.
88SR says hello, Al.
Hello, Dozer?
Yep.
Hello, Dozer.
You know Dozer?
Yes. Dozer is a regular on the YouTubes. And if I recall, has been for many years.
Phil again, how awesome for you to remember the ebook. We are still home haunters inspired by you and the neighborhood kids to keep the Halloween tradition alive.
That is great. I love that. Haunting is something that people tend to, when it's a hobby and when it's a business, it's something that people tend to fall into and fall out of. So I'm very glad to hear that you're very much still in it.
John Browning says, wow, I see Biddy has Sculpt Nouveau on their site. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, man. They if you get the chance to go to their store, it's worth a field trip. And if you ever go to their store, which is in Richardson, Texas, you're about 20 minutes from Dark Hour Haunted House. Let me know, send me a message, and I'll give you a tour of Dark Hour as well. But they have all kinds of Sculpt Nouveau stuff in their store. Yeah. And I'm going to trace this one before I cut that one out. Wouldn't it be nice if this one would fit right there? See how perfect that point is? But it overlays onto this one, so I can't. There's a cat here, so he's knocking things off the table. I'll be right back.
He didn't need to. What do you knock off?
Oh, well, just a $40 bottle of snake skin.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Okay. Had to fix the thing, repair the damage. People ask me if I have kids. No. I have pets and haunt actors, which is like having kids.
Dave says, I will need to pick up some more latex soon. I will take you up on that.
Yeah, give me a heads up.
On Monday.
Yeah, I'm not there on Mondays, so don't do it Monday. So right now I'm tracing the side of the face piece that has no writing on it, which means I'm tracing the other side. But this is a one piece, and this one was folded to make sure they're both even. And even if your sculpt is asymmetrical, make your fur symmetrical, because if you do your masked fur to line up with your sculpture and it's asymmetrical, it looks really weird. It would be like a werewolf from The Fly, where you went in a little teleporter, you went across the room, you didn't come out quite right on the other side. Jeff Goldblum make fun of you and stuff. No good.
Michael Asker says, what are some upcoming trends you see for the future of haunts?
So, a few years ago, I predicted that classic Halloween would be making a comeback. And I feel like it really has. You're seeing a lot more black cat stuff in pro haunts. You're seeing a lot more scarecrows, pumpkins. Halloween in general is kind of making a comeback.
I have a question about the graveyard statue you made about 5 years ago. I want to try and make one and was wondering how heavy they are once they're completed. And are they hard to move around?
Depends on how much fabric and how much spray you put on, but no, they're not that hard to move around. Now, you don't want to put yours onto a stake probably if you want mobility. I have another way of making bodies, which works very well for that graveyard statue, that, you know what, I'll have to do a video on it. Can you hold off a couple of weeks? And then I'll do a video.
This is from the bipolar bushman in New Zealand.
Well, that's not creepy at all.
What a great name!
Bipolar Bushman, I love it.
I've been following for a while now. Thanks for all of your tips and tricks along the way.
Oh, very cool. The reason why I started the YouTube channel is I wanted there to be a library of techniques where when you wanted to do anything for a haunted house, you just came to YouTube and you typed it in and it would be in the library. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I feel like I'm close. So now a lot of it is my mask making stuff, because I'm learning and discovering stuff on that kind of every day.
Takersley FX says hello.
Hello!
Shelley Harp says, of course I can wait. I love your work and videos. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you. I will say, as a heads up, get yourself a plastic barrel, like a 50-gallon drum. You can get them on Craigslist, sometimes for free, sometimes for 15 bucks. Get yourself a plastic barrel and have a skill saw or not a skill saw, have a jigsaw or a sawzall ready. because it's a project. But it's not hard. It takes about an hour. Two of those, wife? That'd be awesome. My wife is giving me drugs.
Right.
Advil, good stuff. Otherwise known as haunt candy. Mmm. Because I'm old and I still try and outrun the 20-year-olds who work in the haunt. So far, I can keep up.
Branson Haunted Hills says, "What is up, everyone?"
Hi!
Branson.
All right. I'm furring up the werewolves like you do.
Ezekiel says, "Alan, what do you think will happen with MHC? I had such a good time this year. I hope it's not over."
Oh, Lord, no. Here, this is a Alan has to sit down moment.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. No, no, no. MHC is not over. MHC had to move because Columbus, we did Columbus. Columbus, we've seen every haunt in a 3-hour radius, probably a 4-hour radius of Columbus. So at that point, for any haunt tours, you're going back to that. A lot of the 80% of the people who went to MHC are from within 2 hours of Columbus, the city. 80%. So the only way that they can grow the show is to move. So they're moving to Chicago, which is a bigger market, which I think is amazing. And there was a lot of talk about crime. I'm excited. I'm thrilled beyond belief for the move to Chicago. So Ezekiel, if you're coming next year, you can hang out with us because I will definitely. Midwest Haunters Convention is going to have to move every 10 years or so. Every vendor knows you have to go to Transworld, and you're going to drive to Transworld. You're going to have a hotel. You're going to have all the parking fees and all that. So it's just a part of it. So Transworld is set. They can move, but they don't have to. And haunt tours aren't a big part of it. The education, the classes are a big part of it, and the trade show floor is a big part of it. Other conventions have a very small trade show floor, and they try to excel in other areas. That's why HauntCon moved around, because they wanted to do different tours. They were a different spot almost every year. MHC, the fact that it was in Columbus and it wasn't Transworld for so long, they kind of sucked Columbus dry. All of your, I'm going to say this delicately, the MHC vendors got a little complacent because they knew the crowd, and because they knew the crowd so well, they didn't necessarily push themselves. You got a lot of clown stuff because Ohio is clown heavy, and I mean heavy, and that shapes the industry as a whole. I cannot wait to see what happens after MHC is at Chicago for a couple of years, and I think in 10 years it's going to have to move again. I think Chicago's going to have, I think Midwest is going to have to move one more time, at least, one time every 10 years, in order to maintain that balance of new people growing the show. And now there's people from Columbus who enjoyed it, and they will travel to Chicago, I think it's only a 4 or 5 hour drive for them. It's not that bad. It might be a little more than that. For me, it's 5 hours closer driving. And MHC, the drive was a beating. So I'm more willing to do a bigger booth at Chicago than I was at MHC. There, rant over. Werewolf achieved.
Columbus was fun this year. I'm glad to hear your thoughts. I need to get to St. Louis, though, much closer to home in Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't been to Transworld, that's a bigger show. It's the biggest show for haunters. Are there shows with more square footage? Yes. Are they for haunters? No.
Where did you get your shirt?
This shirt, well, a friend gave it to me, but there is a convention, actually it's in the UK, called Creaturegeddon, and this was a t-shirt that they made. And they were almost like the UK's Monsterpalooza, from what I understand. So, and on the back of it, it should say Creaturegeddon. But if I turn the camera that way, they can actually read it. Can you see it? On the screen?
Yep.
Creaturegeddon.
That's a video.
That's it. And this over here, let me turn my camera around again. That's my good for nothing shop cat. Seen any mice lately, Tux? Tux!
He's a killer.
Have you seen any mice lately? You got that situation under control? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. He doesn't like that I'm questioning his mousing skills on international television. But you do what you gotta do. You gotta keep them on their toes. Or paws, whatever. Good shop help is hard to find. Now this is gonna lay out like a this.
Ezekiel says, thank you, no, I'll be there. It's worth the ridiculous travel and to see you guys in person. Michael Lassiter says, you know Tuck shares when he kills something.
Oh yeah, he brings it in the house, that's for sure. So this will get sewn together. This gets sewn together. Okay. Should be good. All you need now is a sewing machine. Look, a sewing machine. Turned on and threaded. It's like a cooking show. So I didn't turn it off. That's why it's still on.
Where in Chicago is MHC going to be?
Boy, it's the north. It was more north, I think, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the name of it. It sounded kind of German, the area that it's in. Could you look it up, honey, and see if you can find it?
Will it kick me off?
Not on a computer. Can you open up another tab?
Sure. See if they posted it. They might have posted it.
My wife right now doesn't have a laptop. Her laptop died, and like a savage, she has not gotten another one. Next, I think she's going to start making clamshell necklaces. Go down to the river, catch us some fish and stuff.
Do that.
We're supposed to be fishing in this family, all be me. Okay. I don't pin stuff. I should pin stuff.
They have not updated the website yet.
And now I can just go straight down this, whereas before I had some jaggedy cuts. Sewing, I mean. Now I've got just some sweet straight sewing.
Do you make pictures for film?
I don't do anything for film. Hang on a second, and I'll sit down again and tell you my thoughts. No, I do not actually make anything for movies. I don't enjoy movies. I don't enjoy the movie process. You work on something for 6 months, it's seen for 6 seconds, and then you don't get to talk about it again most of the time, because, or no one gets to see it, because a lot of the smaller movies that get made, they never really get distributed. So it's not a fun field for me. When I make stuff for haunted houses, I make it, I own it. I can make another one if I want to. I can pour it up again and make it a different color. I mean, I can have all kinds of fun with the stuff that I make for haunted houses. And I've worked so long in the haunted house field, I'm at least a medium-sized fish in the haunted house pond, whereas anybody going to the special effects field for movies, you're a guppy. Even the big fish, I mean, they're medium-sized fish because there's 20 of them, you know, of the big production houses. And it's hard to name 20 companies that make costumes for haunted houses and stuff. What I tried to do this year and early in my career, and I'm starting over again, is I'm taking stilt costumes for haunted houses. I'm putting my big paw on it and I'm saying mine. So I'm going to make the best ones, and I'm going to, if you want a stilt costume for your haunted house, I want you to come to me. And right now, I'm kind of saying werewolves for haunted houses. There's my big paw on it, and I make werewolves for haunted houses. Who is my competition for haunted house werewolves? Midnight Studios. And they make a kick-butt product. But mine's going to be more comfortable, and you'll be able to see better out of mine. Well, which is part of being comfortable. So mine is very actor-oriented. Theirs is very looks-oriented. Beautiful work. I love all their stuff. Hard to see, hard to breathe. So that's going to be a costume that maybe you're going to have on an actor outside, or you're filming your commercial or whatever. Use their costume, absolutely. But for an actor to wear it every night in the haunt, I think they would prefer to be in mine. So there. But anyway, yes, my big paw, stilt costumes, werewolves. There it is. I'm grabbing them and I'm bringing them across the table to me. Like, you want them? Come get them. I do them. And someone else wants to make them, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
Michael Astor says Schaumburg, Illinois. That's
Schaumburg. See, I told you it sounded a little bit German.
Listen. Schaumburg.
And I don't know if I backstitched. So I'll backstitch. So, but anyway, movies. I am a haunted house guy too. That's where my passion is. My passion is not for movies. My passion is not for film. My passion is to have a monster in my head and then see it walking around. And I do that at haunted houses.
Dr. Max says, thanks for everything. And Shannon, thanks for sharing your hubby with us. I need to go make stuff now tonight.
Hooray! Go make stuff. Even if it's screams and snoring. Do that. What time is it, dear wife?
It's almost 10.
Oh, great.
If you don't mind me asking, but why did you stop building still costumes?
I actually didn't stop building stilt costumes. I stopped selling them at trade shows. Because I've been making stilt costumes for years, but I stopped selling them at trade shows because I fell into some other products that were just as profitable or more so. So I did those for a little while. And well, with the intention that other vendors might copy me, and then I could stop, and they would be filling that hole in the haunt market, and then I could move on to something else. So what I started doing was, I made burlap masks. I made burlap and fabric masks. And when I was doing it, there was really no other vendor who was doing it for haunts. And now there's 10 of them. And that's great. I love it. I don't mind in the least, because now I ain't got to make them. And the market is satisfied with a good product.
Oscar Mikloff just donated.
But that, wow, thank you very much, Oscar.
Oscar.
Thank you, Oscar. Very kind. That is an interest. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Check your seams. Check your stitches. A little close to the edge on that one, but it's fine. And I want to hit a little more of that. I don't like how close to the edge that is. Fur is a woven, so it could become unwoven. All right, so that's set. And now I need to sew this piece to this piece. And I think
Window liquor says, woohoo, finally seeing a live one.
window liquor.
Window liquor.
Boy, your mom was weird. If she named you window liquor, which I think is a great name. I've been accused of licking windows in my time as well. I was once asked to leave a mall for licking a window. So if someone talked about picking up skills, learn to sew. A lot of stuff can be fixed with sewing.
Michael Laster says, we know Carl licks windows.
Carl licks a lot of things that people probably shouldn't. So this machine is a Singer Classic Heavy Duty, and I like this machine a lot. It makes me happy, and it's pretty darn functional.
Is it truly heavy duty?
It's fairly heavy duty. It's not super truly heavy duty. It won't do leather or anything, and it looks sideways at 5 layers of upholstery, but it's pretty heavy duty. Basically, if something is going to be in my shop and in my life, it better be heavy duty. I'm a user of things. All right, so we have, boom, shalakalaka. This is a werewolf cowl. We'll go.
Just turned 4 a.m. in Scotland. The sun is coming up. Time for bed. Good night.
Definitely go to bed.
This is Fred from the Hairy Beastie.
Hairy Beastie. Right now, I'm a hairy beastie. Ladies. I'm gonna put this over by the werewolf. Grab another one. Got hair in your mouth. That's how you get hair in your mouth, by the way. Put those things on.
Says you look like Grizzly Adams.
I slightly resembled the Sasquatch from $6 Million Man. For those of you out there who remember that. I also slightly resembled what the comic book version of Man Gorilla, who was a Black Panther villain, looked like.
Alan Hops is a sexy man beast.
Thank you.
That's from Window Liquor.
Thanks, Window Liquor. I appreciate it.
It's true.
See, these circles are really helping me line this up. I know what piece goes where pretty close to instantly. Sewing is a definite skill. I'm not the best at it. I get by.
Of all the props you've made, which one has been your favorite?
And that haunt went under, and they tore it down in 2 years. But it was like a cave with a skull. Got me a wife. That's the costume that I was wearing when my wife came through the haunted house that I was working at. I've always kind of worked year-round haunts, but Skull Kingdom was year-round, kind of like Dark Hour is. Because you literally worked all year there as an actor, I ended up taking vacation time in October. And I would go work other haunted houses around the country for the time I was on vacation. And one of those times I left Orlando to go to Texas, and I met my wife. She didn't know she was my wife, but I knew. That was enough. For the record, if you know you're going to marry someone and they don't know, don't tell them. Let it be a surprise. Because they'll think you creepy. And they'll be right. I'm not creepy, I'm just enthusiastic. Oh, my bottom thread just broke. Or did I run out of bottom? Oh, I ran out. Look at that. Got to wind a bobbin. Now I check to make sure that all my sewing took. It did. Great. Winding a bobbin is fun and rewarding because it always works and you do it really fast. So it's successful and rewarding on several fronts.
The bipolar bushman said, I actually made one of the rubbish bag hides and hung it on my garage door. It is still there and gets a lot of comments from friends and people not allowed in the gate.
Nice. Nice. That's not creepy at all. It's kind of creepy, but it's awesome. So if I ever come from Texas and I'm cruising around New Zealand and I see a garbage bag human pelt, I know that's your house. Iced tea. I love it. One. Hello, Tuxedo. Did it. Always a success.
Michael Laster says, Friday will be my wife and I's 16-year anniversary. How long have you two been married?
We have. My wife is right in the room, and now you ask me this? It'll be 14 years, November 20th.
Great.
So, yes.
Well done, good job.
Thank you.
Pressure is on.
Written on my hand. Look at it. Okay, so that took. So all I gotta do now is sew the face together. And I think that I will sew this face together. And then I want to apply these two, and I'm gonna be done for the night. Because it's what, 10:20 right now?
10-10.
10:10. So by the time I finish this and get the first one applied, 10:25, and then 5 for the next one. Yeah, it works.
Let's hang it out. Do you ever hang out this one?
What's that?
Do you ever hang out this one?
No. No, they'll come in and hang out if you're here. But normally they don't bother. You are food, comfort, and happiness. They want to hang out with you. I am occasional fun. Talking about the pets. Wendigo comes and hangs out with me.
It's true.
She's in the shop a lot. I think Tuxedo's just in here trying to milk Instagram views. Right, buddy? So the pattern that I'm using, I did this on a YouTube live video. I made the pattern. So see that part of the process. I did a live video earlier today where I was airbrushing one of them. I sculpted this mask on live videos. I painted and strapped this mask on live videos. You guys have seen every part of this process. I'm the daddy, but you guys are like aunts and uncles. All right. You always have these big phantom threads when you're sewing, so I try and hunt them down, cut them off before I make a mask out of it. Okay, great. Yeah, so I've got two all sewn up. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and apply them. So I have hello, Doyle. What you doing? Just being loud, making a mess? So this loud fellow here, he's the most talkative cat I've ever had. This is Doyle. He is a house cat and hunter extraordinaire. He hates this, by the way. Baby Doyle. Baby Doyle's a baby. He really hates this. Okay, go on, buddy. Go. There you go. Okay. Let's get this guy off of the head bust. Other masks, it's like you saw this one. It's like it. Are you sure I didn't mold it live? I know I didn't mold the snake live, just because I had to get it done.
Cat Kubori says, my cat Bats perked up. Can't figure out where the cat sounds are coming from.
Aha!
He's got a cat named Bats. It's a great name.
I'm gonna put this mask on for a second. Yes, I know I'm trying to get stuff done, but I think it'll work out.
Bipolar Bushman says you would both be welcome.
Hooray.
Shelley Hopper says you make airbrushing look so easy. Is it hard to get the hang of?
No, it's hard to keep a airbrush working. That's the hard part. The airbrushing itself is easy for almost everybody. It's maintaining an airbrush. Most of the learning curve in that is in the equipment, not the airbrush itself. Not the art, I mean.
Callan, signing off from Derry, North Ireland. Thank you both for tonight's live video. It's very much appreciated. Good night and safe home.
Thank you.
She said that in Gaelic. Very cool. It's amazing. We've had people from Brazil, Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand,
Yes.
Australia, UK.
Yes. This is what a werewolf looks like raising his eyebrows. Really, I'm kind of raising my whole face. I gotta take this off. I got work to do. Okay. Let's put this guy down over here. See, with these guys, I don't put them on a head form. I just ball up all the fur inside the mask, and that helps them hold their shape and be nice. Let's throw a mask up on the head form. It's the mask on the head form. It's the thrill of the fight. Rivals. My wife is laughing at me because for a long time I thought the words to Eye of the Tiger were, it's the eye of the tiger, it's a feeling so strong. I really thought that was in there, and apparently it's not in there anywhere at all ever. I thought, well, that's the first verse. The second verse has that part. It doesn't. But anyone who defended me, I thank you. So much easier to put it on a human head than it is on a mannequin, because you can feel what's going on and adjust and change things. Your ears are bendy. Putting something on a mannequin is always like dressing your drunk friend. Never as fun as it sounds. No, I didn't say undressing your drunk friend. That's wrong. Okay. I'm just making sure that that's how it'll be worn. So you've seen me, well, if you were around earlier today, you saw me do one in all white hair that I airbrushed. This is the standard gray hair that I use on them. And I wonder if this contact cement jar is still good. I think it is. But I will have to stick pin it. Sorry, we froze a little. Shane, you caught a live stream. You made it. I just see a comment. I don't know if my wife sees it yet, but it is there anything in the snouts to keep them rigid? No, it's the sculpting of it. It is sculpted in such a way to have its own support. So, no. There we go. This is just contact cement that I'm spraying in here. Quick, pro, happy tip. This is a great way to make detailed cobwebs. Contact cement in this airbrush. Let me find something that I can cobweb. That wouldn't be terrible. This hand grabber. This is one of those like extended claw things for reaching. Tux, it's okay, buddy.
Oh,
I scared the
please don't
cat.
like that.
All right, see this? See those cobwebs? Oh, those are sexy cobwebs. All right, set that to the side. I'll hang this. Do a dry fit. You don't want to just start spraying contact cement willy-nilly until you know how this lines up. So the third or fourth one of these, do a dry fit. You don't want to just start spraying contact cement willy-nilly until you know how this lines up. Put hair on, so I know how it lines up. I know where the hair goes. Wife, I'm glad you're in here with me reading comments.
I'm glad to.
Sometimes if I'm out here, even if I'm live, I miss you. I just want you in the room with me. That sounds like a joke.
Hi there. It's currently 10:20.
That was an alarm. Lets me know it's 10:20.
Oh my God, that was awesome, and that is amazing.
Oh, hooray.
I like your cobwebs.
So what I'm doing is I'm spraying both parts. I'm spraying both the fabric and I'm spraying the mask. I already did the mask, now I'm hitting the fabric with some spray adhesive, which is not spray adhesive. It's a spraying adhesive, but it's contact cement.
Are you going to Halloween and Haunt Fest?
Sadly no. Halloween and Haunt Fest. Now Dark Hour has a tour on a Thursday night, I think it is, a Thursday morning. And I'll be there for that. The problem is, that is so good in the year, those are my training weekends. And almost every weekend in July, August, and September, I go to a different haunted house somewhere in the country and I help train their actors. That's one of the things that I do for other haunts, is I go and I do actor training sessions or makeup training sessions or just haunt walkthroughs and that kind of stuff. So those things are things that I do, and that's a big part of my income. And those are customers that I've had for years and years and years that I have these relationships with. And Halloween and Haunt Fest is new. It just sort of showed up, and it's in August, right? August? It's in August. I'm very busy in August. I've always been busy in August. So it's very hard for me to stop doing that to start doing Halloween and Haunt Fest. I'll be there for the Thursday tour, but I will not be at the show itself because I may have a booth. I may send my guys and have a booth, but I won't be there.
You will be in North Carolina.
I'll be in North Carolina. At what show?
Woods of Terror.
Oh, I will be at Woods of Terror in North Carolina.
Growing up, the TV used to ask if you knew where your children were every night at 10 p.m. That was all I could think of when I heard that alarm.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I remember that. Because I'd watch it at a friend's house and say, I don't know that they do.
It's almost 10:30.
It is.
Mike is going to be signing off.
10:30. Wife turns into a pumpkin.
Mike's up early.
I'll tell you what, I am liking the fit of this better since I cut it. The hair makes just a little more sense, the direction of the hair. When I cut it all out of the one, well, the hair all went straight down. But now this goes this way and this goes this way, as opposed to doing one of those, which I prefer. If that made any sense at all. I knew what I was talking about. Just then.
Ooh, I never heard of Halloween and Haunt Fest. It's close enough to consider. Thanks for mentioning it, Shane. August in Texas, though.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. The good thing about Texas is we know it's hot. Everything is inside in the air conditioning. Everything.
Plenty dark out.
Several years, they've considered making a law where you have to have air conditioning in your car. Like you have to have insurance because you're so distracted driving if you're that hot. So yeah, we know it's hot. We take care of it. Dark hour, indoor haunt. Oh yeah. Ow, ow. Oh yeah. Now that's a real song. Yeah. Sometimes I make up stuff that I think are songs and they're not songs. And my wife never hesitates to set me straight. Because my wife knows every song ever. Sounds like an exaggeration, but I don't think that it is. All right, so this werewolf is coming along. You can see he's got his hers did, and I've got to cut some hair for the back of the ear. I'm going to run a little more adhesive along the hairline and pull that hair forward to hide that hairline. You guys want to see that in close up? Let me know. Just spraying. What's awesome about this is I can use the same tool to apply and to dry. Should make an info commercial for these things.
I love your videos. I am signing off for now, but I will definitely be back. Thanks for doing these, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Shane,
This really isn't even like an informative one. I call this a shop hangout night. 'Cause I'm going to be working. Y'all can hang out with me. But I got stuff to do. All right, so that is probably dry enough. I do not have to add solvent to the contact cement for this airbrush. I would not put it through any other airbrush in the world, but I feel fine putting it through that airbrush because that airbrush is awesome. See, I'm just grabbing the hair and I'm pulling it forward so that it sticks to the head, and that hides my hairline. So the hairline doesn't look like fake fur, it looks like a monster. Or more natural, I guess.
do you have to add a solvent to the contact cement to use it in airbrush?
I do not. I do not add any solvent. I use it just like it is. Okay, and now that that hair is forward, I'm going to hit that edge again. A little more contact cement just to glue those hairs down. And like some are hanging over the eyes, I'll cut those. There we go. Okay, let's give it a little hair trim. And then this guy needs ears, and that's it. Is it 10:30?
Yes.
And these guys have not been urethane glossed on the mouth or the eyes yet. And I have that product right here. This is that snake skin stuff that I've been using lately. I like it. Makes the teeth look wet. This is a opening mouth creature. So you gotta have inside the mouth look wet. Of course, his nose looks wet. Go back to my, I get excited. I go back to my scrap pile here, which you guys see. You not seeing it is a secret to my success. Think my shop floor is clean. I just piled up with fur scraps. How terrible. This is just one of the cutoff pieces.
I'm making a half mask for the haunt I worked this year. The base of the mask is leather and the decoration on top is plastic baby doll face. How would you attach the baby doll face to the leather?
I'd probably use rivets or Chicago screws. If you are familiar with leather work, you probably have used them before. Now each ear is different, so I'm gonna go ahead and I will mark the other one later, or the other one next. I'm not gonna use that as a pattern. Don't coat your razor blade in contact cement. It makes it not as good.
Shelley, help me show us she looks great.
Thank you. So earlier, when I was furring a werewolf not live, I was in this part of the process and I had a wasp in the shop. Bees, I would never hurt a bee. Bees are productive members of society. Wasps, screw those guys. Another yeah, just enough. It's a good looking wolf ear, if I say so myself. Since I just said so, I do say so myself. I learned from photo reference that wolves tend to have that black line up the center of their ear. That's a piece de resistance. Why a piece of resistance is good, I have no idea. But they say that in cartoons, so I have never questioned Buck Bunny up to this point of my life. I'm not going to start now.
Linda Forbes says that it works great on spiders too.
Yeah.
Who would hurt a spider?
Yeah, that's like beating them at their own game, you know? Although I don't kill spiders because I figure spiders are killing other stuff that I don't want in my house more than I don't want spiders. But you are kind of out spidering a spider if you kill them with contact cement or spray adhesive. I'm going to cut this with a razor blade. I'll be ready to glue it on. And I'm not being super precise here. I want you guys to notice, and I've said this before, fur is forgiving. If you want to feel good about a monster project, make it a furry one. Because fur is just very forgiving. It hides your seams. If you buy cool looking fur, then the whole thing looks cool, you know? And guys, as soon as I put this ear on and show you the finished product, I'll probably be done for the evening. I will then get up early tomorrow and I will knock out the last one I have to fur. I have this. Easier to move this than it is to move you guys.
Dave says, great stuff this week, Alan Knightley.
Thank you. Hello, Doyle.
He's back.
From outer space. All right, that's the werewolf. What you think, love?
Great. That is fur that is not airbrushed, right?
This is not airbrushed at all, this fur. The fur airbrushed one, let me back this camera up a little bit. I actually think that this guy looks mean, and this guy looks a little more noble.
You have a ranking?
Maybe this guy's younger than this guy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Mama said there'd be days like this, there'd be days like this, my mama said. Mama said, mama said. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So guys, thanks for watching tonight and hanging out. You're awesome. Go make stuff.